Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just recorded this video without the record button being pushed. Way to go, Don Shader. Shit. I'll get started right after this.
Hey! Roger! Oh, Rocket Chick Roger! Hello there.
Okay, all right. A couple things I want to tell you about, and then I want to tell you what's going on with me, because I've had a lot of people write to me and want to know, Don, where are you? Why are you not doing videos? It's been like a month since I've done a video. And you're right, it has been. And the last one I did, I think, was about the angiogram stuff that I had done. But anyway, grab my notes here. One of the first things I want to talk about, I've talked about this before, and I'm not going to stop talking about this. I'm going to harp on you about this until the cows come home. But folks, don't make the mistake of coming here to live here without at least visiting. Spend some time here. I saw an email or a post on Facebook the other day from a lady from Canada that's packed up and ready to go. By God, she's going to be an Ecuadorian expat or a Canadian expat in Ecuador. And I wrote to her and asked her, I said, have you visited Ecuador? And she wrote back and said, no. And I said, good luck. I would bet money that she won't last a year here. I got an email from some friends the other day. I'm not going to mention their names out of respect for them, but there was a paragraph in his email that really rang a bell with me, and it has a lot to do with this topic. He said, with the stupid political climate, we are moving slower toward our final decisions, but we hope to make our trip to explore in the same time frame we had set originally. We think visiting at least, now listen to this, we think visiting at least 4 different towns of different elevations in a 5 or 6 week stay should help us to learn more about how we respond to the different parts of the country and how we may enjoy our time there to have new experiences and learn about another culture. Now, that's smart. Now you're talking, okay? If 5 or 6 weeks, I hope that's enough for you, but you'll at least get a taste, okay, of what it's like. I see one of those gnarly hairs sticking out of the side of my face. It's like driving me nuts. But anyway, folks, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Do an exploratory trip. Don't sell all your stuff and then in your car and your house and everything and move here. There are people that are moving here that hadn't even made arrangements for a place to stay. They pop into town and get on Facebook and say, anybody know where I can get a rental by the beach for $350 a month? Shit, that ain't gonna happen. So that's just some of the stupidity that I keep hearing about and keep reading, and I can't get the point across. You've got to explore. Stop listening to all these YouTubers that say it's rainbows and glitter farts and Ecuador and paradise, a great place to live. Look at the freaking clouds here, okay? I'm on the beach here. Look at the clouds. How is that rainbow and glitter parts? Yeah, I know. It's a nice view, Don, and everything. Okay, well, I get to look at 2 buildings there. But anyway, the second thing I want to talk about before I get into this health issue is Ecuador has implemented a tariff. You heard it right. A tariff, a $20 tariff. Basically, starting June 16, 2025, I'm reading this off of paper, and I'm going to share this paper in Google Docs, and I'll put a link to it in the description, okay? Ecuador will impose a flat $20 tariff on most packages delivered from overseas under the popular 4x4 courier system. Starting June 16th, that's just in a few days. The 4x4 rule explained allows individuals in Ecuador to import packages weighing up to 4 kilograms, valued at up to $400, value at up to $400 per package, with an annual cap of $1,600 per person per household. The rationale cites a dramatic rise in 4x4 imports up, I find this a little hard to believe, 637% in 4 years with 6.8 million packages valued at $502 million in 2024 alone. Over 90% of these packages originate from China, and about 68% contain clothing or footwear, which are sensitive sectors of Ecuadorian producers. Well, hell, Ecuador, if you could produce some quality products, maybe we'd buy it here. I wear a size 13 shoes, and I can't even get a frickin' pair of shoes here. So if I order a pair of shoes that fit me, you're going to charge me $20 to get it in the country? It angers me, and I really almost want to just say something really nasty, but I'm not, because I'm a peaceful, kind, loving, very nice person, okay? So there's a 3-page document, and on the last page, you can see the links here. There's links all throughout this document that explain all the sources. So you can read it for yourself, but I'm telling you, that's what's going on, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is that things have really settled down a lot here, okay? There's still been these cartel shootings here and there, but the random shootings and stuff like that, like you guys have in the States, that's not happening here, okay? They're all targeted hits, okay? Fortunately, I haven't had to listen to one in a while, but I did hear that one of the a guy that lives over in a neighborhood here, I'm not going to mention it, pretty popular around here, got shot 15 shots to the head the other day, and a lot of people around here know who he is, and flies a helicopter off his home and gets out with a big heavy suitcase, but I don't know who it is, and I wouldn't want to know. Okay? Now, the third thing I wanted to talk about to try to explain what's been going on with me is that, as many of you know, back in September, I started getting tinnitus. Some people call it tinnitus, but it's tinnitus. It's not ringing in the ears, it's ringing in the auditory canal system that's inside the head. There's no cure for it, okay? There's treatment, but let me tell you something, folks. If you get it as bad as I got it, it's debilitating. But it leads to something worse. If you don't do something about it, it leads to something catastrophic. I'm going to explain in just a minute. The way I deal with this tinnitus right now, here 8 months later, almost 9 months, is I have hearing aids with tinnitus therapy in them. And it injects a sound that tries to retrain the brain and tells it to not send that signal, down my auditory canal. The problem that I had with this back in the early days was, the doctors would tell me, the numerous doctors that I went to would tell me to go see a psychiatrist and get them to help me learn how to deal with this. So I said, thanks, but no thanks. I don't believe in psychotherapy. I don't believe in psychiatric care. I'm just not buying it. And the doctor was saying, but Don, you're depressed. We can see it in your face. We can see it in your demeanor. And we can see it in your behavior, in your attitude. And I just kept denying it and kept denying it. I had 2 different doctors tell me to go see a psychiatrist and get treated for depression and stress. So I finally caved about a month ago, and I finally went to see a psychiatrist. And I'm telling you, these doctors were right. Over the last 8 months, I've had feelings of despair. I've had no energy. I stopped walking on the beach. I've written 3 suicide notes. I've stopped eating, started drinking more. I started drinking scotch and drinking heavily, 5-6 drinks a night, and then eating dinner, and then having a couple or 3 glasses of wine. And I fooled myself into thinking that this was helping me, when in fact it was just making it worse. I've discovered, after all these years, and I'm 73 years old, and I've discovered that depression is a real thing. It's a freaking evil disease, and I finally realized that it was killing me, and it was just doing it just day by day. And if I hadn't gone to get help, there's no telling how much longer I would have lived. So now I'm being treated for depression, and I'm doing pretty damn good. It's okay to tell people that you're not okay. That was the hardest lesson I had to learn. And Stella would come over and see me, and she could see in my face that I was hurting. And she could tell by the way I was treating her. Other people could tell by the way I was treating them. And it was literally destroying me. So I'm glad to say that therapy is I'm undergoing therapy. I'm taking Wellbutrin, 150 milligram once a day. Simple as that. But depression had me believing that I had heart condition. I'm fatigued because I have a bad heart. I spent almost $6,000 out of my pocket. I did finally get a reimbursement from my insurance company, but I had to front $8,000 to the cardiologist here just to get myself checked out. Stress tests that I failed, angiogram that was negative, echograms, everything, and what the doctor took my money and told me to go see a pulmonologist, when the truth of the matter is that he should have been telling me to go see a psychiatrist. So I'm so thankful that I finally followed the advice of some friends of mine and I went and saw a psychiatrist. And today is day 4 that I've walked on the beach. I got up out of bed and went for a walk. Now I'm tracking my steps and I'm going right back to where I was back before all this shit started. Depression is real. When you come to Ecuador, there are things that are going to happen to you here that can cause depression. So be prepared. Don't be afraid to say, I'm not okay. So that's it. I'm going to try to come up with some new topics for some videos. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, smash that thumbs up button or leave a comment down below. If you didn't like this video, put your teeth back in and bite me, okay? But I say that with peace and love, okay? Ciao, ciao. I'll see you on the next one.